Hello there, my name is Carole. Welcome to my sewing room. My channel is Sew Carole, and if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I'm more or less almost always making garments. I do the odd little bag and things like that, little craft, but primarily I sew garments. I also do a bit of knitting every now and again and crocheting and any other little craft that comes along. And I want to talk to you today about this craft that I've suddenly got into, and this is typical me. I find something and I want to know more about it and have a go at it. But I just wanted to share with you just something that I can do, say when I'm out and about, when I'm travelling, on holiday, when I haven't got access to all my wonderful sewing machines. So I do hope you enjoy this video. So what am I going on about? Well, I'm not sure entirely what it's called, but generally it's all about stitching cards. Now, I'm showing you this one because this is the first one that I have done. I only started this week, but this is the first one I've managed to achieve. Now, I had never seen a stitching card before, or I think prick and stitch, or lots of other names for it, but by pure chance, I happened to go over to my parents' house just before Christmas, and my mum showed me this wonderful card that she'd been given for Christmas. And obviously it wasn't this one, but it was very similar to this, with holes and thread. And I spent so long looking at it thinking, that's incredible. Has it been done by hand? Has it been done by a machine? I was just absolutely fascinated. So I used the wonderful power of Google image search on my phone, took a shot of it, and then it led me to find out about, it was all called prick and stitch or stitching cards, and that's when I started to look into it more. Now, we love to collect new bits, don't we? It's a new craft, you can collect new bits, but this actually is very cheap to do, much cheaper, and you don't need many things to be able to do it. Right, so I came across this wonderful website, and I'll link all the details below. It's called Stitching Cards, and on there they had some free patterns to have a go at. They've got wonderful tutorials, it tells you all how to do it. So this was the very first one I picked up, Stitching Cards. It tells you everything about it, everything you'll need. On the website it recommends the threads, the cards, the little mat you need for underneath, but I'll go into more of that in a minute. But anyway, so you just downloaded this wonderful thing about how to make this lovely cute little puppy, how to achieve it, and the design that you had to punch onto the card. So I will go into it in more detail in a minute. Now, if you've ever come across this before, this might be stating the obvious, a lot of this, but I've been sewing and crafting all my life and I had never come across this, and I'm so glad I have now. So let's bear in mind that this was the first one that I downloaded, had a go at, and I was so pleased with the result. It is a very simple design, but even saying that, I think it's made one cute little card. So I used gold thread, and I put some beads for the eyes, and I'm not 100% convinced about those yet, but it doesn't matter. This was my first go, and I managed to achieve something. And that's the kind of craft we all love, isn't it? Something where you can have a go at, and you get something reasonable. Right, so if I explain a little bit more about what I had to buy, which you might already have anyway, and how you can go about doing it if you're interested. So what kind of do you need basically? All I started off with is they recommend like a pricking mat, and this is one I actually bought, but you could use just a piece of foam or something like that. And I'm using a back of a cork table mat just as well, just as a bit of a more security. They recommend you use these double fold cards. So the idea is, if I show you on this one, that all your sewing, backing of your sewing is here, you will seal that, and then you've got the card and no one can see how bad all your workings are on the back. So double fold cards, which I did have to send away for. I'll put a link down below where I got them, but I'm pretty sure you could probably get them in other places. So I did that. It gave me the most wonderful opportunity to buy some sparkly thread, which I have never used before. So this was the Gutman's Value Pack Metallic Effect. It's got some good colours there. I did happen to be in my local shop the other day and I picked up these variegated colours because I think they'll be quite useful as well. But it gave me a marvellous opportunity to use some of that. They recommend a perforating tool. You can just use a needle, but I think if you were just using a needle, it could be sore on the fingers. So obviously this is like a pen. It's got a nice grip to it. It's by Pergamo. I will put the link in again, Pergamano, which is actually in Kent in the UK. So this is a perforating tool. But again, you could use something else, but I think this is probably more comfortable if you're doing it a lot. It wasn't particularly expensive, so that was great. Obviously, you've got some normal hand sewing embroidery needles. They say number 10. I'm not quite sure what that means. So that's kind of what you need to start. The things that could help you are some double-sided tape. I'll explain a bit more about that in the beginning. And this is parcel tape, but it's that stuff that doesn't really stick. It's a bit like a kind of a painter's tape, something like that. So that's really kind of all the things you would need to sort of have a go at. You may have noticed some beads as well. Now, I have a design that I want to do that has beads, and a lot of them do, but I haven't done that as yet. But I have managed to get hold of some bugle beads. I actually got them on Amazon because I couldn't get them locally. But I did come across some of these beads that I already had. Now these are tiny, tiny beads that I think my daughter used to make. Do you remember used to make these bracelets from? So that was fantastic because I got all sorts of different colours there. So it gives me a good chance to use some of those up. But I haven't done a beaded card yet. What I will show you now is kind of the theory behind it. I'm going to try and repeat doing a little bit of that puppy again so you can get more of the idea if it's something you've never come across before. So laying the card out flat, what we'll be working on is this middle piece here. So I've laid it out on my pricking mat. I then cut out the design. This is one I've used before, so it has already got holes in. But you would then cut out the design and place it on top of your card. And I've used some of this painter's tape or parcel tape to secure it all down. Then it is as easy to do transfer design as literally, I don't know if I can show you without blocking the image, but you will just punch through all the holes in the design. So you've got the black dots, and what I have learned is you've got to be quite accurate, otherwise your stitches go a bit astray. But it is just as easy as that, just punching round to create the design. And obviously if you're not sure where you are, where you've been, you can always have a look underneath, look, and you can see what I've done so far. But I will go ahead and quickly do that now. So I've gone all the way around this design, and don't know if you can see that. If I lift it up to show you, I've got the holes ready there for my cute little doggy. So I can remove that now. These fantastic instructions tell you exactly what to do. It says, for example, it says start by finding hole A, which you kind of work out for yourself. You come up through A, you go down to B, you come up through C, you go to D, E, F, G. It's kind of as easy as that. It tells you this particular one really breaks it down well. As you can see, they're telling you it's got all these A, B, C, D, E, you know, it tells you exactly where to go. Like 1 goes to 2, then 3 goes to 4, then 5 goes to 6. As easy as that. And what I will do now is I just do one of the little feet. I'm going to get some thread and I'll have a go at showing you. I've cut a piece of my gold thread and I've turned the card over to the back. because I want to show you how they suggest to secure the threads on the back. So this is a bit of double-sided tape, and I'm going to put a piece down there. Now this for me is brilliant because you haven't got to do awful knots in the end of the thread. So you haven't got knots coming through. So you would lift up a piece, one side of the double-sided tape, you place the thread underneath it and then secure it back down. If you notice the very first card I did, I just used the like masking tape stuff there, but this is much nicer and less risk of it actually showing through on the other side. So I will then go to my design, and I'm going to have a go at doing one of the feet for you. And they're working at A to B to C to D. Now this is a very, very simple design. They get much more complicated, but I thought it'd be nice to show you just the basic and what you can achieve. So they're saying to come up through A, and A is going to be one of these top ones, that one there. So you come up through the bottom. So I'm going to find A. I'm going to try and do this as best as I can so you can see what I'm doing. And pull that tight and then go through B. Now I absolutely love hand sewing, so this isn't a problem for me at all. Then they're come up through C, so that's the next one to it. And then down through D. And then up through the next one. So I'm just going to do the last one of the foot now. Do in and down into that one there. And then we have a little foot done. Isn't that cute? Now I will say that I know this is, I'm a beginner, and so it may be that I'm perhaps not using the right embroidery thread, or my holes aren't thick enough, and I'm sure these are things that I'm going to learn as I go along. But for now, I think it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go on and do the second foot. Okay, so that is my two little feet done. I'm going to move on now. So I'm going to cut off this thread. And I'm going to lift up that piece of double-sided tape, pull that underneath, and that's nice secure. So now I can move on to another part of his body. I'm now going to work on the head as it's a round circle, and it's exactly the same as before. You're going straight down, back up, and working all the way around. So I'm going to work out which is the top. I've got a new piece of thread and secured it, and I'm going to work out which I think is the top, even though that won't matter at all. Pull it through, and then I will work my way around the circle. So I worked out that that's exactly opposite, and then I will go into the next one at the bottom. And so on and so forth. I've gone all the way around, and now you can see I have his head. So all that would be left to do is his body and his ears, which I'm not going to do the whole thing for you now, but I do hope that you've got the kind of idea of how you create it. And obviously they get more and more tricky. After doing the dog, the next one I went on to was this beautiful flower design, and I am so chuffed with this one. This took me actually quite a long time to do. All these individual, you've got the hearts, you had to do a bit of back stitching to create sort of the vine, and that's the back of it. So yeah, I was obviously getting better from that design. So that was this one here. It was another free design you could do, and this was the pricking thing that I would do it out. The next one I want to work on, if I put these aside for now, so obviously we are heading up to Easter. So another one of their free cards was an Easter egg, but it does involve using beads, which is why I thought this is going to be the next one I kind of have a go at, because I have got some beads that I can use. So I've downloaded this design, and last night, quite late last night, I pricked out the pattern, but I will just show you how easy it is to go wrong, because I have pricked it all out, as you can see, beautifully, but I did it on the wrong bit of the card. That's okay, I'm not panicking, because what I will probably do is, we only send Easter cards to family anyway, so I will probably go ahead and do that after I've taken the time to prick it out. But cut one of these sections off and obviously seal it on top. And that is something you could do anyway. I've got a nice guillotine that I can easily chop that off nicely. But that is the next one I want to do using the beads. So I'll have to come back to you and keep you updated on that one. So what do you think? It's a fun little hobby, isn't it? And as I said before, when I go on holiday or we've got long journeys, I like to be able to do something, especially if I'm sat in a plane for sort of 4 or 5 hours. So for me, what I will do is I will brick out some of the designs. I've got the cards ready and just take some thread. I wouldn't do beads if I was on a plane or anything like that, but I'm certainly going to have a go at doing some. Now, what I've just noticed on this is all about, there are so many designs on this website, it's fantastic. But what I have just spotted, they are based in the UK, 10% of all their sales from the patterns will be donated to a charity, an international children's charity. That for me is absolutely amazing. I've gone ahead and actually bought just a couple of patterns. I'm not going to get myself overwhelmed because obviously sewing is my hobby, but I will just show you the ones that I have bought. I bought another beaded one, which was some flowers and just this bit of sewing here. And thinking ahead to March and Mother's Day, I hope my mum's not watching this, there's a Mothering Sunday one. They also give you all the lettering, and for Mothering Sunday they've got the whole alphabets on there as well, and that's free as well. But yeah, now these were, I think, only £1.30 for a design. You can buy kind of a value pack, but I think that's incredible. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to doing this. This will be awesome, I think, doing that. So that's going to be good fun. So those are a couple that I have gone ahead and bought because I think this could be something that I would really enjoy doing. I used to do a lot of craft card making. I've got a Sizzix, or never quite sure what you call it, but yeah, so I have always enjoyed sort of making cards, but this combining my two favourite things, which is sewing and sort of creating. I've got some cards to make. So yeah, I do hope you've enjoyed this and you found this interesting. Even if it's not something you fancy doing, just to seeing how it's done, it's just amazing, isn't it? And I'm so fortunate that I came across that card that somebody else had made, and actually I think she runs a business from it, and I managed to find out what it was. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to catch #FridaySews and any other videos that I may put out. I also do the Lutterlow system every now and again. That's just for me to challenge myself. Thank you, and I will see you all shortly. Bye bye for now.